college football guy than me on the show, but we had a crazy rivalry weekend in college football that was arguably overshadowed by another story that we'll get to in the next topic. But listen, I told you 2 weeks ago, the last time that we were on the air, I did not care that they did not play anybody, and you can make an argument they still haven't played anybody. I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. I don't think it's close. I think Indiana's probably second. I never bought your Texas A&M that they were number 3, and look what Arch Manning did to them. West Saturday night down there in Texas. I still think they're going to make the CFP, obviously. But it's another weird year for college football. It was a good rivalry weekend. We had some good games. Georgia Tech gave Georgia a little scare. Auburn obviously gave Bama a scare. LSU almost giving Oklahoma a scare. But at the end of the day, not a ton of upsets, not a lot of craziness really going on.
Yeah. By the way, I know I've had my issues with Chris Collinsworth, but my God, Gus Johnson, you are a freaking clown. I don't. Oh my God, Brandon almost fell out of his chair.
Do you want to explain yourself, Mr. Ungar?
I don't want to hear him or Joel Klatt, for that matter, call another Ohio State game. My God, it's when those two are calling a game for Ohio State, it sounds like they work for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Good. Jeremiah Smith!
Mercy! Maserati Marvin Harrison! Oh my God, it was honestly annoying. It's more annoying to listen to Gus Johnson call an Ohio State game than it is to listen to Chris Collinsworth during a Chiefs game.
Josh's Penn State side is coming out of him, ladies and gentlemen.
So thank God I will not be watching the Big Ten Championship.
That outside Alabama, Georgia, that's the best game of the weekend.
By the way, College Game Day will not be at the Big Ten Championship. They will be down at Atlanta for the.
Well, of course they will. I mean, that's the game of the week, Alabama, Georgia, the rematch. And we're going to get to see this weekend. I'm going to watch both these games because I really want to see Ty Simpson and Mendoza, the two quarterbacks that are rated number 1 and number 2 right now, go up against NFL style and NFL level defenses.
I think Ohio State is just going to toy with Indiana.
I do too. I want to see Mendoza against that defense, which is historically great. I believe Ohio State's as good, if not better, than 2019 LSU because I think they have a better defense than that LSU team. And I think those two receivers could equal what Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase were to that team.
Good God, Jeremiah Smith. First of all, I didn't think that was a touchdown on that first series, but point aside, because it didn't end up mattering. If it had been
they toyed with Michigan. I mean, even Michigan went up 6-0. You're like, oh, they have no shot to win this game.
Yeah, even when Michigan was up early, I was like, yeah, Ohio State's still going to win. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was 17-9. It felt over, and Matt Patricia's been a wizard there. Ohio State just says it's the talent, but it's also their coaching. What Ryan Day has done since that Michigan debacle last year, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like an Ohio State homer because you know I'm not. You just watch them and you go, they could beat the Titans, the Raiders, the Jets, the Saints, and probably the Browns. I don't know because of the Browns defense, but they're better than like 4 NFL teams.
So the Georgia-Alabama game isn't the only rematch happening this weekend because you also have BYU Texas Tech, which is a rematch.
I don't care about that game. To me, we have 9 playoff spots decided to me. And the Big 12, the Mountain Championship, and the ACC Championships are going to decide the other 3 spots, and none of those teams have a shot to win the national championship.
I do think Texas Tech has a legitimate chance, if they get placed in the right spot in the bracket, to run the table and win the national championship. I believe in the Red Raiders and what they're doing.
Well, you also believe in Texas A&M, and look what they did. Ever since you said they believed in them, they fell out of a cliff. They had to come back down 27-0 after they ran into a security guard, and they lose to Arch Manning.
Texas is in an interesting spot
I don't
because
buy Texas should be in at all. I think it's ridiculous. If you put Texas in, then Bama should have been in a year ago. That's my argument.
you know who I think doesn't belong? Vanderbilt. I don't think
Well, no,
Vanderbilt.
they don't belong either. I'll tell you right now, in my opinion, these are the 9 teams that do belong, and I could be missing one. So I'm going to exclude the Big 12 champion, the Mountain West champion, and the ACC champion. There's only 3 spots for each one of those. But I think
Why Mountain West?
Because there's going to be a Mountain West champion. That's going to be one spot, right? Aren't they a part of the Power 5?
No. It's probably good. You're thinking of the group of 5 teams. It's probably going to be either Tulane or James Madison that get that spot, not a Mountain West team.
Okay, that's fair. But I think out of the Big Ten, you're going to have Ohio State, you're going to have Oregon, you're going to have Indiana. To me, that's it. That's your 3. Out of the SEC, you're going to have Alabama, you're going to have Georgia, you're going to have Texas A&M, you're going to have Oklahoma. So that's 4. I also think Notre Dame deserves to get in. So that's 5.
They're actually doing the rankings right now. Utah, it comes in at number 15. Vanderbilt is at number 14. Texas comes in at number 13.
Okay, that's right. That's about right. That's where I would have Texas. I don't think you should have 3 losses and deserve to get in. I know that they were on the road, and I know they lost to the likes of Georgia and Ohio State, but you can't have 3 losses to me and get in.
So hopefully they have not revealed number 12.
Ole Miss is the other one I was thinking about. So Ole Miss, another SEC team. So that's there. I just mentioned to you. 5
Miami
SEC.
is number 12. What does Miami have to do to jump over Notre Dame? Miami beat Notre Dame. What the hell?
Okay, but they also lost to a cupcake. That's the difference. You can't lose to. You get no. Head-to-head does not matter that much. It doesn't not matter over the resume.
Are you kidding me? What?
No, the resume matters more than head-to-head. That's what the committee has told you. They are looking at body of work over head-to-head. That is literally their definition of the committee.
BYU comes in at number 11, and I would expect Alabama to be at number 10. And then Notre Dame at number 9. I'm surprised Texas only moved up 3 spots, considering they took down the number 3 team in the country.
Again, it's because they have 3 losses. Head-to-head does not matter. It is the body of work, and losses matter more than wins.
This committee,
which is why they need to get rid of the committee
and go to a.
All right. No,
hold on. Notre Dame comes in at number 10.
So they just raised Alabama up because Alabama beat Georgia this year. They just beat Auburn. The SEC matters more than Notre Dame without a conference. So that makes sense to me.
I would have because that game was so close, I would have actually dropped Alabama a little bit in the rankings.
Again, though, when you're dealing with the SEC, that matters more.
Trust me, I get it. The SEC is the most dominant conference.
The SEC, no, it's not. The Big Ten is. The Big Ten, to me, is overall better than the SEC.
Alabama comes in at number 9. So, just as you predicted, I would expect, let's see, maybe this is where Texas A&M goes. I'll let you know once they reveal it. It has not come up yet. We know Alabama is 9, Notre Dame is 10. And
I would suspect Ohio State 1, Indiana 2. I think Georgia moves up to 3.
Who would be at number 4? Oregon?
Maybe. I think it's between Oregon and Oklahoma. I think you probably put Ole Miss at 6.
Are you going to Oklahoma's at number 8.
Okay, so they really believe in Bama. So I would guess Bama 6 or 7.
No, Bama's at 9.
Oh wait, you said Bama 9. Okay,
Texas
Texas
A&M.
A&M.
Texas
I would
A&M.
guess 7.
They are number 7. You are correct. So
who do we
Ole Miss,
need? Oklahoma, Ole Miss will be 6, I would think.
Oklahoma is number 8. Ole Miss comes in at number 6. That leaves Oregon, Georgia, Indiana, Ohio State, and I'm missing one.
Texas A&M. They'll be in at 5.
No, Texas A&M already got revealed at number 7.
My bad.
So Ole Miss is 6.
That's what we get for doing live on the air.
I know, right? So Oregon's probably going to come in at number 5. Yep, Oregon's number 5. And then
Georgia's 3.
Who's at number 4 then?
Oh, we're about to find out.
Yeah. Oh, Texas Tech.
Okay.
So Georgia's number 3. Indiana's number 2. Ohio State's number 1. There you go.
Can we talk about Lane Kiffin? This bothered me. And I'm not going to blame Lane Kiffin as much as I'm going to blame college football. You imagine this, Josh. Kevin Stefanski tomorrow gets a call. He's going to become the new head coach of the New York Giants. And he's going to immediately leave the Cleveland Browns. You might be like, all right, I want Kevin Stefanski gone. But it's just the point. You cannot have a coach leave another team in the middle of a college football contending championship in the middle of the season. It's just so wrong to me.
Well, he wanted to stay at Ole Miss to finish the season before going over to LSU, but Ole Miss said, no, you can't.
It shouldn't even be a discussion. It should be, you shouldn't even be allowed to have talks with teams until after the season, in my opinion.
That's hard, though, because you got because of the calendar.
Well, that's why they need to push everything back. No, the college football needs to have an off season. And if high schools need to push back the signing date or whatever for these schools, go ahead and do it. I don't care, because that's what needs to happen. The off season needs to start the day after the national championship game. That's the day it starts.
You know what's crazy is, given that we have the NIL and transfer portal and players getting paid and all this and that, you could basically just call college football the NFL's farm system.
It is. That's what it's turning into. And it is good for the sport late in the year because, like, listen, we're going to get to watch the future stars on Sunday, on Saturdays. And that's great. That's why the super conferences have been really good. But it's also diluted the end of the regular season. And it's made it really difficult for this NIL and transfer portal stuff when it comes to the offseason. Now college football coaches are leaving like crazy. And Lane Kiffin just stripped Ole Miss's entire staff on their way to a potential national championship game. I mean, they had a real shot to make the national championship game and then get pounded by Ohio State. But they had a real shot to make it.
Yeah. By the way, Lane Kiffin is allowing his offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss, to stay at Ole Miss to finish the season before coming over to LSU. So there's that little nugget. But
yeah, and by the way, I think it's like if they win the national championship, they get to pay Lane Kiffin a certain amount of money or something. But Lane's a snake in the grass.
He's a louse. He really is.
I didn't like this at all. This is terrible for the sport of college football. That this was talked about more on College Game Day than the rivalry weekend in college football, which is supposed to be so sacred. That basically Lane Kiffin turned this into a LeBron 2010 decision.
He really did. And do you remember when Florida fired Billy Napier earlier this season? People thought he was going to go there, and quickly the Gators were kind of removed from the conversation, and it only came down to LSU and Ole Miss.
Like, if he went for the NFL at the end of the season, I wouldn't have been mad at him. He had that right. Jim Harbaugh did it a year ago. But did you ever hear oh my God, Jim Harbaugh is for sure going to win Michigan? We heard inklings of it, maybe the week of the national championship, but it was mostly having to do with the scandal. It wasn't like, oh my God, Jim Harbaugh's out here publicly flirting with the Chargers to pay him more money.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin was publicly telling LSU and Ole Miss, whichever one of you will pay me more money.
And I believe he got similar offers from both schools.
It's a joke. Now, by the way, I'm not going to say I'm rooting against him. I'm not going to say I'm rooting for him. I think he will do well at LSU, but I think it's going to take more time than he thinks. I think there's a real possibility they don't even make the college football playoff next year.
I mean, the SEC is brutal, and
he gets to play Ole Miss next year. And how are you going to look those players now at LSU in the eye and say, boys, I got your back, when I just turned on Ole Miss less than 2 years into my tenure?
And I believe that game is at Ole Miss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're going to need extra security. They're going to burn down the building.
I know. Yeah.
It's a disgrace. I'm angry about it for the sport of college football. That every year at this time we do this about college football. This is supposed to be the celebratory end of the season. That we're going to celebrate all these great athletes and the seniors in their final games in the college football playoff. And yet all we do in college football is talk about the committee and coaches leaving. We don't talk about the on-field product when it's at its best.
I know.
By the way, what I said about the NBA, it's why I have a problem with the NBA now. We don't talk about the on-field product. All we want to talk about is, oh my God, is Kevin Durant going to request another trade? Or, oh my God, Mike Malone got fired 3 days before the postseason. What? Like,
wait, to that point, most of what we hear on like First Take now is like, oh, they're talking. Remember when Alex Ovechkin broke the all-time goals record? Like, I know you're not a big hockey fan, but that was one of the big stories. One of the first topics I heard on First Take the day after Alex Ovechkin became the all-time leading scorer in the NHL was, how does he compare to LeBron James? It's like, what?
Like, that's what we do. We don't talk about the current on. Last year, I think the Thunder, and again, not to get off topic, but the Thunder felt disrespected because no one wanted to talk about them because all they wanted to talk about was the day of Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Kevin Durant got traded to the Houston Rockets. There's something fundamentally wrong with that, and college football is the same issue. We should have not been talking about Lane Kiffin. We should have been talking about Georgia beating Georgia Tech. We should have been talking about Ohio State and Michigan. We should have been talking about Alabama, Auburn. We should have been talking about Oregon, Washington, all these other Florida, Oklahoma, all these other big rivalry games. And instead, all we talked about was this jackass and whether or not he was going to make a decision or not. And that's the truth. I'm sorry, folks.
No, you are 100% right. It has ruined college football because, as we have discussed and as I have, brutally illustrated, I am a huge rivalry guy. I love the Oregon-Washington rivalry. I love the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. And instead of talking about the impact of what happens if Michigan wins a 5th straight time against Ohio State, or what happens if Auburn beats Alabama, or some of these other what-if scenarios.
And that wasn't even the conversation. That part didn't even come up. It was, Ohio State or Alabama is probably going to win. But let's talk about Lane Kiffin. Or let's talk about, this BYU coach maybe going somewhere. And then they had to step in and they had to step in and say, the BYU coach is going to stay. And, then they started talking about Bill Belichick. Well, what the hell? North Carolina's irrelevant. What the hell are we talking about North Carolina for and Jordan Hudson? Give me a break, man.
So, by the way, It sounds like the BYU coach is going to go to Penn State. The two sides have mutual interest, but the BYU
Well, he just
coach.
said he's staying.
Oh, well, last I heard, there was mutual interest between him and Penn State.
He just
But-
told people today he's staying.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the last I heard was
Again, now we got to talk about Penn State's head coaching search. That's what they're going to spend all this week on. Well, now who's Penn State going to hire? I don't know. I think the number 1 and number 2 team in the country are playing this weekend.
Yeah.
No disrespect to your nifty Lions, but that's the truth.
No, I don't take any disrespect from that. And think about this. You know, we have 2 big college basketball games going on. I haven't heard a peep about them. It's the ACC SEC Challenge. You got the Florida Gators, the reigning defending national champions, playing at Cameron Indoor against the Duke Blue Devils. Then you have the North Carolina Tar Heels taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. You also have UConn playing at Kansas. So I hope you respect that I'm giving up watching those games to do this show, by the way.
I do respect that a lot. And I respect your dedication to college basketball because I think that's the one thing that hurts it. They are going up against college football, the NFL, NBA, all the seasons pretty much.
I know. By the way, I'm probably going to the Cleveland Hoops Showdown, or Cleveland Hoops Classic, rather, on December 13th. Ohio State is taking on West Virginia at Rocket Arena.